go on to the next rule now. Safe speed. Start reading, please.
Rule 6. Safe speed. Every vessel shall at all times proceed at a safe speed so that she can take proper and effective action to avoid collision and be stopped within a distance appropriate to the prevailing circumstances and conditions.
See now, firstly again every vessel, obviously rules apply to all vessels, so they are talking of every vessel. Proceed at a safe speed, and the purpose of safe speed is to be able to take proper and effective action and be stopped within a distance appropriate to the prevailing circumstances and conditions. Right? So remember one thing, too low a speed is not safe because you may not be able to take proper and effective action. Too high a speed may not be safe because you may not be able to be stopped within a distance appropriate to prevailing circumstances and conditions. Right? So both the issues are there. Too low a speed is not good. Too high a speed is also not good. Right? It has to be, that's why it says safe speed. It does not say full speed, it does not say slow speed, nothing, just safe speed at which you can take proper and effective action and be stopped. Now stopping obviously involves what we call as stopping distances, which you can get from maneuvering characteristics, and turning circles will also give you how much of time and how much of room you need, how much of wheel you need to take effective action. So you should be abreast of your maneuvering characteristics very nicely, which include both turning as well as stopping. Turning distances, stopping distances, turning times and stopping time. Both are equally important. Right? Yeah.
In determining a safe speed, the following factors shall be among those taken into account by all vessels: the state of visibility.
Now, this is in two parts. By all vessels, in all conditions. First is in any condition of visibility, isn't it? Right? So, the first point is
State of visibility.
state of visibility. That means, whatever, if the visibility is good, then obviously you will be justified at going at higher speed. If the visibility is restricted or less, should you drop your speed? Why? Why do you want to drop your speed?
Sir, we should be at the maneuvering.
Why? What is the reason?
Sir, to assess more time.
Because you will need more time to assess the situation, and you can only make more time by reducing speed. A visual assessment is faster or a radar assessment is faster? Visual is faster. Visual, moment you see, you take one bearing, after some time you take a second bearing, have a good look at the ship and you know what is happening. Of course, you need to keep checking it. Just one look is not enough. You need to keep checking and confirming that what you've seen is right. But it is much faster than if you need to assess a ship on radar. Radar will obviously take more time. ARPA itself takes some time. Again, when you're altering courses or target is altering courses, you need certain amount of time before the ARPA can give you correct data. Right? Whereas visually you can see it is much faster. So straight away, if visibility reduces, you need to reduce speed. Of course, there are other regulations, other guidelines which say engine should be ready for maneuvering, etc. That's different. We are just looking at the ROR part right now. Yeah, next.
The traffic density, including concentrations of fishing vessels or any other vessels.
Now, why do you want more time when there is more traffic?
To assess the situation.
Again, same thing, no? To assess the situation. To assess one ship takes some time. To assess 10 ships may not take 10 times the time, but it will take much more time. Right? So, traffic density goes up, again your speed should come down. Also remember, with your reduction of speed, your stopping distance will also come down. And in higher traffic density, if you need to stop within a safe distance, then you should be able to, your stopping distance should be less. Same way, restricted visibility, if you need to stop, stopping distance should be less because you want to decide that action a little late vis-a-vis good visibility. Right? Yeah.
The maneuverability of the vessel with special reference to stopping distance and turning ability in the prevailing conditions.
I think that's the first point you had discussed. Right? Maneuvering characteristics of the vessel will determine the safe speed.
At night, the presence of background lights such as from shore lights or from backscatter of our own lights.
Now, why is this cause of concern? Presence of background light or shore scatter.
Because when we are transiting through the place where there is cities and all, so we can't make out whether any vessel is coming.
Exactly, the lights of the other vessel could get mixed up with the shore lights. So it is not easy to identify, and again to identify you will need more time. Yeah.
The state of wind, sea and current and the proximity of navigational hazards.
Does this affect safe speed? How? How does this affect safe speed?
Speed is reduced to the heavy weather.
Rough weather, automatically speed will come down, load will go up, so you may reduce it further. Okay.
Also, if current is high,
How does the wind affect your turning circle? Does it affect? Which means you may not be able to turn as fast as you can turn in calm waters. Right? So your turning time will increase. Plus, depending on the direction of the wind, your stopping distance.
Additionally, by vessels with operational radar, the characteristics, efficiency and limitations of the radar equipment.
Now he is talking of safe speed with respect when you have your radar. So how does the characteristics, efficiency and limitation of the radar come into picture? Characteristics obviously means whether you are using 3 centimeters, 10 centimeters, right? Plus the range scale which you are using, because the distance at which targets will be visible is also on your range scale. What do you mean by efficiency of the radar? Performance monitor. How does that come into picture? Now we'll take an example. Let us say the original, when the radar was fitted, the length of the plume, you know what's a plume in the performance monitor, isn't it? Let's say the length of the plume was 1 nautical mile. All radar settings etc. as required for performance standards, length of the plume was 1 nautical mile. Today, after so many years of use or whatever, now when you check the performance monitor, the length of the plume is only 8 cables, 0.8 nautical miles. What do you conclude from this? Magnetron is weak. So what can you do about it?
First of all, we check in manuals whether it lies in the range of performance.
That's okay, it is within the range, let's not go into that part. What do you conclude from this information?
The performance is reduced.
Performance is reduced to how much?
By 2 cables.
By 2 cables means what? From 1 mile it has come down to 8 cables. Reduced by 2. What does it exactly mean? It is working at 80% efficiency of the original. So yeah, you were saying something, it will?
It's the same efficiency.
So how does the reduction of efficiency affect your lookout? Or safe speed?
So the distance of the other vessel will be 2 cables more than that.
2 cables. Why 2 cables?
It has reduced
Not 2 cables.
by
That means if the radar, as we said, the radar is working at 80% of the efficiency.
80%.
So yeah, let us say earlier a particular target or a particular ship type whatever was painting at, let us say, 20 nautical miles. Right? This was when the performance was showing 1 cable and it was considered to be 100%. Sorry, 1 mile, not 1 cable, 1 mile, and it was considered to be 100%. Now since it is 8 cables, the performance has come down to 80%, which means this ship which was painting at 20 miles will now paint at 80% of the distance. So she will paint at 16 nautical miles, which means the ship was first appearing at 20, now it will first appear at 16. So if it appears closer first on the radar, should that affect your safe speed? This is what they mean by efficiency. Characteristics we discussed, efficiency. Right? Is it clear to everybody, the word efficiency? And what do you mean by limitations of the radar? Shadow sector, blind sector. Right? Also remember, when you talk of limitations, the radar performance standard has got certain errors permissible. Right? The bearing accuracy shall be plus minus 1 degree, I think, at 12 miles. Right? So these things are also part of the limitations. Right? Yeah.
Any constraints imposed by the radar range scale in use?
What could be the constraints imposed by a range scale in use? Yes?
We are using very short range. So the plot would be like
If you are using short range, you will not know ships which are far off. Isn't it? And if you are using a longer range, then the accuracy of the nearer vessels will suffer. Nearer vessels may not appear, or fishing vessels may not appear. Even otherwise, somewhere that fishing vessels also come, small vessels may not appear. Right? Okay, next.
The effect on radar detection of the sea state, weather and other sources of interference.
Now, if you have clutter, echoes can be lost in the clutter.
yes.
If you increase the anti-clutter, what are the chances that some of the echoes will get suppressed? Right? Good chances, isn't it? So, an effect of weather on clutter, etc. on the radar. So, again, if that happens, you will have to probably look at safe speed. Is it really safe to move at that speed or not?
The possibility that small vessels, ice and other floating objects may not be detected by radar at an adequate range.
Now, since you have done the ROC course, you are aware of something called as aspect. You are also aware of something called as echo strength coming from the other ships, other targets. Wooden boats are not very good radar targets. Right? Same way, imagine if a ship is, you are looking at the ship like this, that means heading for you. This way it is large. This could be small. So the echo would be there but small. And imagine the same ship like this. The area available for echo is much larger. Right? So what area is available to you, that also makes a difference. Right? Just read that point again.
The possibility that small vessels, ice and other floating objects may not be detected by radar at an adequate range.
Ice, again depending on what is the slope of the ice. There's an iceberg and the slope is something like this on the side. The radar waves coming here reflecting and going off. Not reflecting back but reflecting and going in other directions. This also happens in rolling and pitching. That is why we've got in the lights, of course, we've got the cutouts, which also are basically for rolling and pitching. Here also rolling and pitching could affect detection of targets, especially small targets. Large targets, ships and all, effect is not much. But small boats, fishing boats, sailing boats, wooden boats in particular, all this may not be detected. And if you have any other information in your full appraisal of the situation in lookout, if you have any other information or any other source to tell you that there are fishing boats or small boats around in this area, and due to clutter you are not seeing, or due to choppy seas you are not seeing, you need to be more vigilant, perhaps even reduce your speed to keep a proper and effective lookout. Right, so you can see how the rule is connected.
The number, location and movement of vessels detected by radar.
Now again, in the earlier part, general, we said traffic density. This also is nothing but traffic density. If there are, in the radar there is one more issue. If there are targets passing close by, there is something known as target swipe. Right, that could happen. then suddenly data can change. So you got to be vigilant on that, which means again you may need more time to keep a good lookout for such things. Right? If there are too many targets, how many are you going to acquire on ARPA? You may then use a selective method and say, okay, this ship is gone down, I've off my bay, so chances are you're not going to turn around and come and cause trouble to me. So you may want to neglect, but still you will want to keep a track of them. You can't just 100% neglect and stay back. You have to keep a track.
The more exact assessment of the visibility that may be possible when radar is used to determine the range of vessels or other objects in the vicinity.
Now here you got to be a little careful. Yes, moment you start seeing a ship, you could check on the radar and you know that the visibility is 8 miles, 10 miles because it's quite clearly checked by the radar. And radar is giving you correct range. Remember one thing, this assessment is only in that direction. If you got a target, let's say on the starboard side about 30 degrees and you start seeing that target at 5 miles off, it means the visibility is 5 miles in that direction, not necessarily right round. Somewhere else it might still be less. So be very careful with that. A more exact assessment of the visibility in a particular direction. Other direction, is it more or less? Unless you check targets in that direction, you don't know. Right? And secondly, this is also at this point of time, which means 15 minutes later, will the visibility still be 5 miles in the direction of 30 degrees on the bow? I am not sure. Last time when I assessed, it was 5 miles. 15 minutes down the line, is it still 5 miles? I don't know. Because in that 15 minutes, I have moved by a couple of miles. Visibility can change. Weather conditions can change. Right? So we are not very sure. So more exact assessment is only for a short duration and in a specific direction. Right? Yeah. Anything else? No? Okay, anybody, any questions on this? Clear? So can we say safe speed is concluded?
Yes,
And from today on you will all navigate at safe speed?
Yes, sir.
So what are you going to do? When you go on the ship, pick up the phone, call engine room and tell them, gentlemen, we now go at safe speed. Keep the phone down, is it? You are going to decide the safe speed, not the engineers. Right?
Yes.
So you can tell them to reduce speed, increase speed, but you are the deciding factor, not the engineers. Right? As navigating officers, it is your prerogative, your privilege. You take the call and you tell the engine room, we want this RPM. Right? When I say navigators, I am including everybody from master to third officer and cadet. Right? They are the ones who will decide. Call engine room, tell them we want this RPM. Don't even tell them we want this speed. We want so much RPM. You know, you are aware of the speed RPM table?
Yes, sir.
Look at that, convert it. And of course today with bridge control, you can do the control from the bridge itself. I had discussed this in some other room some time back. Yes? Action to avoid collision. Certainly you can reduce your speed by 1 or 2 RPM per minute, etc. and extend that. So remember that also. And when you are deciding speed on your own, bridge control, you can control the speed. Any questions, anything else? Nothing clear?
Yes, sir.
Right, gentlemen, thank you.